Thank you. Mr. Secretary, it's kind of ironic. The last time that I heard before today a Secretary of Defense talk about military involvement in Iraq was Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. That got us into a war that was unnecessary. I know ISA is evil. There's no question about it, and they need to be taken out. But I looked at some of your statements from 2002 when you were a senator and how you felt about the obligation of a member of Congress to make a decision to send a young man or woman to die. I also looked at your statements in 2007 when, like myself, you came out against the surge in Iraq. Now we are possibly going to be asked by the President of the United States, like we were by George Bush, to authorize an AUMF. This is nothing but an abdication of our constitutional responsibility to give any president a AUMF. We tried this past year in June when we had the NDAA bill. Adam Schiff tried to sunset out the AUMF that we gave to President Bush, which has been used by President Obama. And I do not understand how we in Congress can continue to abdicate what the Constitution says is our responsibility. Before I get to a brief question, James Madison once said, the power to declare war, including the power of judging the causes of war, is fully and exclusively vested in the legislature. And I do not believe sincerely, because when this happens to be President Obama, he wants to have another AUMF or an extension of what we have. I hope that the Congress, both parties, will look seriously at what is our responsibility, because it's not going to be but so long. You have sent more and more troops to Iraq to train. Many of these are former Saddam Hussein loyalists. And now they're fighting with ISIS, and then some are still now fighting with the other side. It's very complex. I understand that, and I agree with that. But for goodness sakes, why in the world should we make such a commitment and we don't even have an end point to it? I would like for you or General Dempsey, I have great respect for both of you, to submit for the record two things very quickly. How does this new war end, in your opinion? And I realize it's just your opinion, but that's very important because of who you are. What is the end state of what we're trying to accomplish? The American people, over 50% of the American people do not want our personnel in Syria or in Iraq. And I will be honest with you, I don't know how we can convince the American people that a nation that's financially broke, you sat right here, General Dempsey, and you're exactly right, sequestration and all the budget problems coming your way, and yet you're asking for $5 or $6 billion to drop more armaments in Iraq and Syria. Where is it coming from? Please explain to the American people and to this Congress how this war is going to end someday, whether we are advisors or we're fighting. And I hope to God we're not fighting, and I hope we do not give the President a new AUMF. So if you get those into the committee for written form, then you won't have to answer the questions. But this, again, it looks like we're going down the same road that Secretary Donald Rumsfeld told us we had to do. We had to do. And yet we had no end point to that as well. So thank you very much.
Congressman Jones, if I might just respond very briefly. You very accurately described my position when I was in the United States Senate. But it's basic, as you have noted, to the responsibilities of Congress. And an AUMF comes out of Congress. The authority of military force for a president, that authority comes from the Congress of the United States. And I, too, hope the Congress will engage in this. And I have great confidence the Congress will. They need to. They must. It is a responsibility of the Congress. So I'm right with you on that point, and I'll give you my best thoughts on your other question as well.
Thank you.